Hello, Planet Sewers. It's Mathletee here. Welcome to episode 3 of my franchise mode, which is the Mies Tropical Africa. So where we're at in the franchise zoo is we need to put a roof on this guy here, and that's what I'm getting ready to do. Also, in this episode, we're going to make some custom fencing, and then we're going to put in the red ruffed lemurs, and then talk about our next steps for episode 4. I am trying to decide how I want to roof this. I really struggled to come up with an idea. I did not want to do a full glass roof on this. So, trying to figure out exactly how I want this to go. And then I'm also realizing I made this a little wider there on the outside of the grid instead of the inside of the square of the grid. So right here I was a little confused at first because I didn't understand why this roof wouldn't line up. Anyway, I went through a lot of different thought processes, so I took that out because it was a lot of just trial and error trying to figure out what I wanted to go with. So I did end up deciding that I did know I wanted to use the 1 meter slope corners right here where the glass meets, and then fill that in so that I could have a regular roof up here versus an entire glass roof. The glass roof pieces really are pretty, and they go well together, but the curves are really hard to find other roof pieces to go with, because what I really wanted to do was have regular roofing everywhere I do not have roof at the moment. But sorry, Ruby keeps screaming and I lost my train of thought, but I did cut that out because it probably would have hurt your eardrums. That one was really loud. But anyway, they just don't have the pieces to make it simple. So I wanted to keep it simple for anybody that's following along or building along. Of course, if you want to play with it and come up with a different roof idea, go for it. Share it with me. Oh, hello, Ruby. I would love to see what you came up with. Just a heads up, I am about to change all of the glass pieces to dark purple, but I am not going to keep it. I end up deciding I don't like it. Originally, I was thinking I kind of wanted to keep this building similar but different from the Mies Staff Facilities building. And then ultimately, I go back and I change it. I just felt that this was, I don't know, too dark, too purple. I love purple. There's just very rare times that I ever see it in architecture that I love it. Every once in a while, I'll see a Victorian house that has put purple with other colors just splendidly. Again, I'm thinking about how I want to do the roof, so I end up just using that curved piece that's already there and connecting it over on these sides. That way it'll reach up to the non-glass roof section, and it looks like I'm going to need to either roof or add something on the edge there. And I spent a little time thinking about that, and I went with the roof option instead. So I have the 1 meter slope roof right here, so I'm going to use that to connect in, and I'm still probably going to need to go inside and add that 1 meter wall to cover on the inside. I just, for essence of time, I am editing out any areas where I think too long, in my opinion. Obviously, it went from night to day. Also, sometimes I leave the game running when I let my dogs out and things, so there'll be times where I forget to pause it and I'll come back. But it's just sitting here not really doing anything. So don't worry, when you see little snips like that, you're not missing out on anything. I did speed up a few portions of this video today just because it was repetitive, but to include it. Oh goodness, Ruby, I guess she didn't like that idea. So just getting little 1 meter slopes right there to match up to the roof right there. And I'm gonna add in a glass window right here on these sides. So if you'll remember from the last episode, I did split the window piece right here that's from the Aquata pack off from the rest of the grid and slid it into the middle. So that is a little bit of advanced building, I guess, instead of just keeping everything the way you want it. Another way to do that instead of splitting it off is you can change the grid size down to 1. So you have grid size on the right and you have grid height right there. I just split it off. I find that for me, whenever I do make any changes to the grid height or the grid size, sometimes I end up with some problems. So I really like to try to keep the grid size at 4. I've just run into where it won't cooperate with me, or it's always resetting, or I've had instances where it's not aligning properly anymore. But you can definitely try it on your end and see if it works for you. I don't know what my struggle is there. Maybe it's user error. I don't know, but I'll put it back on 4 and then things won't align. It could just be the zoo file I'm in. Maybe something's just gone a little awry once you have a lot in there. Sometimes things can get a little wonky. So I'm adding in that 1 meter piece to the top right there so that we're not looking at the roof itself. I could have just left it and put in a floor and had like a where you could see the roof right there. Another option could have been glass, but then you would need to cover, but I wouldn't put glass there. I don't know, what am I talking about? You just be looking at the roof. Anyway, so I'm rethinking this section here. That has to do with, 1, it didn't line up the way I wanted it, and 2, I wasn't too crazy with how it turned out with the habitats next to it. Grab this over here and do the same thing, but I'm going to flip it around. And that way I've got this piece there and I've got this piece there. I think at the time I haven't figured out yet why it wasn't lining up. And also it looks like I'm changing the color wall maybe. No, I'm not. Oh, I'm just making it shorter. That's what I'm doing. So I am recording this after actually playing it. Sometimes I'll do both at the same time. It depends on where I am when I do my recordings. Sometimes I'm not always home, so I'll play the game and record it. But I always do all my recording at home. I think I had decided I wanted to let a little bit of light in through this entrance instead of it being so closed off. So I'm going to add in these glass fillers here. And that's where I kind of noticed it wasn't lining up as well. I think that's why I changed it to, was so that it wouldn't be so noticeable that they're not matching. I think that I also end up splitting each one of these out of the group and moving them over. I was searching for a piece, so I cut that out. I decided to add a little bit more window to the front, and we're going to go back and grab the aquatic wall, if I can spell, and go ahead. I should have just used the 2 meter, but I wasn't sure. So that's where I have figured out, I think, that the problem was where the piece was, because I had decided to go on the outside of that box, like I said earlier, versus staying on the inside. So when you stay on the inside, the roofs will fit, but if you go on the outsides, the pre-made roofs will not. So I thought, well, let me grab these and scoot them out. And I'm not sure if I actually split those out or not. I can't remember. I think what I ended up doing, oh yeah, I remember what I did. It really bothered me that the roof didn't line up with everything. It was kind of wonky looking. So what I'm getting ready to do is I split it right there from the group, and I'm shifting it with X, because once you have a grid piece alone, well, it didn't have to be alone, but I didn't want to shift the whole building, so I can advance move by hitting X the entire building, but I don't want to do that. So I want to just move this roof piece, and since all of it was grouped together, highlight the thing, and there's a little box with an arrow, and it will split it out onto its own group grid, and that way I could move it how I wanted to without moving the entire building. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to put this together, so I've split this one, and I'm going to slide it over. So I took 2 items at that time. I selected the glass and the roof piece, and I slid it over, because I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want this to work. Then I'm going to get rid of that one. And my next plan is to just take this roof piece. I'm going to go in that grid and duplicate the roof piece and its little glass piece so that I can get the glass piece right where I want it. And then that way it lines up all nice and perfect on the outside. I'll set that down there, I think. And go ahead and split the roof completely so that it is its own group. Actually, I think I just got rid of it. That works too. That way I can just duplicate this by itself. Now that it's in its own group, it's a single item, I can advance move it, and I can get those right where I want them on the edge there. And then we're gonna do the same thing with this. So with the grid pieces, if they're alone and not in another group, then you can move them like that. Otherwise, it'll take the whole group if you hit X. Also, when you're in the group, it won't let you do that if there's other things attached to the group. So you do have to split it out. So I'm taking that roof piece there and splitting it off from the glass piece so that I could give it a little bit of a overhang right there. And then we're gonna just duplicate this guy. Control D is your hotkey for that. And I'm noticing, well, it didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to. So I took this one, I split it off. I'm going to try sliding it in and seeing if I can get that edge just nice and pretty, but it's fighting. So sometimes that happens. Your other option is to just drop it down and back up just a little so that you can get them off the plane from each other, and it'll stop that fighting. So that way I've got the same overhang on both sides. You can't see the glass that I put in from this view, but the guests should be able to see it, and it gives a little more light from that side, and you can also see it from the inside here. So I'm looking around, I'm deciding what the next thing I want to do is. I edited out again my wanderings. I realized I had forgot to put a little roof on this guy, and of course it doesn't line up because I went on the outside versus the inside. So I decided for this one, we'll just scoot it in. And since I highlighted too, it wouldn't just scoot. So I had to use Z to rotate it and get it to come on the inside. There we go. Alrighty, so now I've got that. I decided I'm gonna add a little Eve onto this. So I wish it had kept the color that I picked, but once you leave, it will forget your color choices. So I'm gonna copy this one and turn it around. There we go. Alrighty, so there's that. And I think I'm gonna put the little gable piece in here. So I'm gonna go find the 1 meter. I had to click on it to see what size it was, and I'll have to recolor that as well. So let's put that right there. And let's see, we'll go with purple so it matches the roof. Nope, let's go with white. I decided too much purple. And let's see. And I felt this was a little too square, so I'm gonna put this little arch piece on the front, and we'll change the color for that. There we go. Now we're gonna go inside and do the floors. So I'm noticing I'm either way over the floor or underneath it. So I'm just gonna set one down so it gets me in the grid for the building, and then I separated it out from that group so that I could drop it just above the path. And now I'm gonna go back into the group and go ahead and put in the floor so we can finish off the inside of this building. And I think we're gonna do some lights, maybe? I don't remember. I actually did the building for this about 2 weeks ago. I was just playing and doing the building, and as I was doing the editing, I was trying to keep the episodes to be about an hour. So again, I ran into the same problem here. I'm either underneath the path or way over, so I don't want my workers to have to walk through knee-high floors. So we'll separate that off and go ahead and drop this down, and then go back into the group, and we'll set that just along here. Now, if you want to, you can change the path in here to a different path instead of using all staff path. You really only need that staff path on the outside of the building to keep them from coming in. Just one will do. Alrighty, so I decided I'm gonna go ahead and cover the curve of the path there, and probably put in a little bit of planters right here on the corners so that I could cover the curb a little bit. So I am splitting, whoops, grabbed the wrong one. So we're gonna undo that. Control Z will undo. So I'm gonna look at it from the top and select just that piece, separate it from the group, and we'll just scoot that over. There we go. That way it's not showing through the wall there. And I need one more piece there. So it looks like we're good to go. And let's see. I think I am going to change this so it's just the same kind of concrete going up, but it gets rid of the Planet Zoo staff path. So I'm trying to just highlight what I've already done and add the path in. And then I wanted to keep that little rail kind of the same color. So I went ahead and did that all along the upstairs. And then, let's see. So like I was saying, because I have staff path entering this area. I can use whatever path I want. I don't have to keep the staff path. Alright, so I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. It's getting dark. It likes to do that when I'm inside the buildings. I did notice I'm missing one of those 1 meter pieces right there. So I just grabbed that one and we're gonna put that in. I think at one point I thought I was going to do something a little different right there. But I've decided I'll just fill that in. And I was scrolling around and noticed this side is peeking out as well. So I'm gonna split that one and just give it that slight nudge so that it's not peeking out in from the wall. Alrighty, so I got yeeted outside, so I cut that out because I was trying to get an aerial view. So sometimes it is really helpful to do your roof once you're done on the inside, so you don't have to necessarily have such tight camera views. So what I'm going to do here is make a little mulch box. So I was trying to figure out, that's the smallest piece that I can use. So I'm trying to keep it inside this little corner, but I did want a little bit of dirt in here. I'm going to see if maybe this piece will work a little better. Let's spin it around. Maybe I'm so close in, the controls do get a little difficult. And sorry about the background noise. One of the dogs decided to open the laundry room door. Even with it closed, you might be able to hear it. I'm not sure why my dryer is being so noisy today. And I'm yeeted back out. So I'm looking around, seeing if I can use this piece, and that's a no. It's peeking out. I had tried several. I was trying to use the bigger pieces instead of having to put so many small ones into this corner, but it looks like this is the smallest one, or biggest one that I can use, and being able to not have mulch coming out from the sides or on the inside. So we're just going to fill it in a little piece by piece here and scoot this over if I can grab it. I was making sure I had the right one, and fill this in, and I think 1 or 2 more will get the job done. Just gotta turn this one, and I have 45 on, so let's see if that works. I'll scoot it over, and it looks like I will have to use 1 more, and we'll scoot that over. There we go. That looks good, and I can see some fighting over there. Again, to fix it, you can highlight just that one piece, split it from that grid group, and then shift it just a smidge up and back down until it stops. I did not do that here. I don't plan to be in here looking at that corner very often. So I decided I'm going to put this little plant here, and I'm trying to highlight just the plant and the mulch that I put in so that I can group it together. I'm trying to get a view that's not of the roof, and it's highlighting that plant. It keeps grabbing the plant. I gotta get in a little closer. Let's see if I can get it from here. There we go. And now I can hit that little tree in the corner. I think I might be missing one. I feel like there's one more down underneath. Yep, there is. So let's get where I can see it. Got it. All right, so I'm gonna group those together, and then I'm gonna look at the roof again. I'm gonna move this over. First, I'm gonna move it up so it's not going through the wall, and then we're gonna Control X. Well, I decided M. We're gonna move Control D, and I I'm using Z to spin that around. And I just kind of eyeballed it so I can get it up here. And then we'll use the arrows to scoot it around. And I can see the arrows aren't going the way I want. So I hit the change to world axis because this building is on the world axis. So that way I can get arrows the way I want them. I'm going to scoot this plant over just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. That way they have just a little something nice to look at as they walk up here. And I went through a lot of different choices trying to pick out some lights. I did want to add lights in here. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to put them. If I want it on the wall or up high. And I think I want them up here. So there we go. I'm going to put that there. And then I am trying to get the snap to do that again. But it didn't want to. So we'll just Control X and move it over. And then I'm going to turn these so that they're always on because we're inside. And changing the light color a little bit. That way they're not the light color, but the metal color, so that it's not so dark. I was hoping it would match a little better, but they're different materials, so that will do. And then I want to copy this over to the other one, so I'm just struggling with the view. It keeps eating me outside, so I'm trying to just scoot these over. There we go. So we have a little bit of light inside the building, and then I'm going to double check that it kept my settings. It did. I think that's a new thing. Used to, you would have to reset whether or not they were on all the time. And just trying to get a better view. For camera, there are some settings you can look at and hotkeys if you check out the settings. The way I have mine, I believe if you hit T, it will change what Q and E do. On one of them, it will rotate. If you hit T again, it will change it to up and down, or kind of zoom in or zoom out, I guess. I think it's up and down. But anyway, yeah, because W, A, S, and D are some of the other controls, so that you can move around using the keyboard. I use the mouse a lot for my camera controls. I'd have to actually do it to tell you what they are. But you can use the mouse keys, buttons, I guess. I've decided I don't like this. I'm going to change it. Originally, I didn't want to use the wall in the wall, but then I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do that so that the windows have the same look. Oh, there goes Ruby. On the inside as they do up top. So I'm going to grab one of those, and I think I was trying to avoid changing the grid height, and that's why I went with the pane originally. So this is not setting the way I want it to, so I'm trying to get it to hide inside of there. So spinning it around and trying to get it either on the inside or the outside of the square. It is not cooperating with me because I do not want the frame to show. So I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this over, and then that way I can split all of these at the same time. And then I'm going to use X so that I can just scoot these right inside so that I can go back into this other group and put these over there. And there we go. All right. I like that better. One of the other things I thought about doing was not all four, just a few of them. Sad thing is, Ruby is in the shower with my husband, and I can hear her all the way over here. So I'm going to split this one. I can see it through the wall. I didn't check the other side. It's covered. Let's see, did I? Yeah, I can see it. So we're going to go ahead and go back into that group, split just the one glass, and give it a little nudge over to the left so we don't see that either, in case once I put this on the workshop, anybody that uses it, they're not going to show because they may not have mass amounts of bamboo in front of theirs the way I do. I really like the way the roof came out on this building. I think it's super cute. Alright, so what's next? In efforts to keep the video a little less long, I edited out my looking around to find the letters that I wanted. And I've decided I'm going to go with these big fat letters. And all of my franchise zoos have the name Mies in it. It comes from a family name, and so my husband actually uses the Mies 1000. Apparently, I spell it wrong. I have added an E to the end of it, but I don't know, that's just how I want to spell it. So for me, it's with an E. I am not sure why Ruby is so upset in the other room, but sorry, she is screaming her head off. So we're gonna just put Mies Zoo, I think, facilities on here. So I'm going to speed that up because you're probably going to want to put something different there. And you can just pause, do what you like. That way you can customize that. All right. So I forgot to add in some more power. So that's what I'm doing over here. And going to put in the path over here. I was wondering why the pangolin's water area was dirty, and realized the water treatment I had put in didn't have any power. So we're going to add that, and then I'm going to grab those two walls right there and duplicate them over. And since we are under a window, I'm going to have to do something a little different for the roof. So we're just going to duplicate that arch and bring it over. Put it right there. And find a different roof piece to go there. I guess we'll go with flat, and we'll get rid of the eave on the side. So vertical wooden plank, just highlighting it because I can't remember all the names of everything. And I'm going to change the color. Go ahead and bring this up, spin it so that the slats are going the same way. And then I should have moved this before I put it down because now I can't get to it. I'm going to have to highlight everything and then unhighlight. Let's see, we'll just move this out of the way. Now I can get it. We're going to put that there. And there we go. All right. So now we're going to go over here and get it ready to split this habitat. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm trying to decide where I want to put it, and I'm trying to exit out of that group so I can maneuver this how I want. And I'm trying to think where I want to put it, where the Chinese pangolins can get in here but also hide as well. And all the thoughts I had, I realized really aren't those or they really are not that great of an idea, because the guests can still look in. I really wanted to put it over there somewhere, but didn't matter which way I spun it, guests could get a view of them. And so the whole point of the little hut is so that they can hide and not be seen, so they feel safe. And then I'm just speeding up, moving all of their enrichments over here, so that I can split the habitat. Oh no, one of them died. I'm gonna have to get a new one. Let's see, I'm looking to see what I've already got. So we're gonna go, I was looking at the lemurs earlier. I'm gonna do some math. I forget what I had originally, but I do have it saved in my phone so that I can subtract out and make sure that I only spend the conservation credits that I've earned in this zoo, not all of my zoos. So we're gonna get this lemur here, I think. Well, neither one of them are that great, but I want to be able to make sure we have enough for the social group versus getting good genetics. We'll worry about that later once the zoo is doing a little better. So we're gonna get that one, and I have enough for one more. Maybe, I forget how many I actually have. I think 3 is how many I can buy. And so we got that one, and we're going to go ahead and double check and see what I need. Sometimes you can have a mix of whatever when it comes to males and females, but these guys, only one male, and you can have a ton of females. So that helps me pick out the last few. So let's go find another one. So we'll get, oh, not good choices. We'll get this one. And I think that makes 3 total. And so we're gonna get out of here. So now I've picked them out and checking their space. So I think I'm just gonna cut this habitat kind of in half. So I'm going to go ahead and start my custom fencing as well. As originally I was thinking about doing 3 in here, and I do have probably enough space, but I also noticed that the red, whatever they are, I can't say it, that lemur can also go with the other lemur in the same habitat. So maybe we will add them once we've earned more conservation credits. We'll add in the other lemur into that side of the habitat. Excuse me, no, I want to be connected right here, please. Thank you. And I want null, because we're just going to go straight through the habitat and through the building, and then we're going to make our own barrier here. And I'm also going to go around and replace the concrete barrier that I put in with some fencing. I'm going to make this not 90 degree. That's my problem. There we go. So I'm just going to go straight through. Now when you do this, you do have to be mindful of the terrain if there's not paths underneath the buildings. So let's see, I was still thinking, looks like about maybe cutting this into a third. And then I changed my mind. Oh, no, I see what I'm doing. I am just going around that edge so that I don't have to worry about the terrain too much, and through the building, just through right there. Oh, I have a rogue pangolin over here. It was his habitat, and now it's not. Okay, so I would have to pay $1,000 to catch him. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is get rid of the barrier really quick right there, and then I'm gonna just move him and put it back. All right, now I fixed that problem. That way I don't have to pay the $1,000 to catch him or wait on the vet to come get him. I just clicked on him and hit move and sent him over to the other side and put the barrier back. So I'm gonna turn highlight barriers for nearby on, and then we're just gonna bring this over here for now. It will keep the pangolin in his habitat. They actually won't go through it. It's too thick. I'm gonna move that over there because that's for them. And then we're gonna duplicate this and slide it over. And then we're gonna put in a guest gate after that. So this is just there to keep my pangolins from coming across as I do the custom barriers. So we're gonna click on him and double check that he can't get through. And there we go. So I just need the guest gate. Now, if you didn't want to use a guest gate right here, you can flip over elephant grass into the ground, and it will keep animals from being able to cross it. Kind of a weird manipulation, but I decided not to do that here. I'm actually going to go ahead and use the barriers in the game as well as create my own. So we're going to put in, I'm just going to get rid of that right there so I can put in a guest gate. So we can get this, let's see, looks like I need to take that one more over there, get rid of one more. So I'll get rid of that and then go back to barriers, and we're gonna get that guest gate again, and there we go. Yay. So I'm just gonna kind of slide this around. I like that. Oh, that's weird. All right, get off there. We're done. Okay, so now we're ready. I took out my going through all the different woods because I do know I'm putting in a climbing animal. So I wanted to make sure that the wood I used for this is not a climbable wood. So I wanted to make sure that they couldn't climb on this, because if they can, they might go into the other habitat and escape, or sometimes they'll just end up on the other side of it, and then it will count them as escaped. So anytime you're building a habitat for climbers, you want to make sure that any accent woods that you use on the outside of your buildings are not climbable. They will, if it's close enough, be able to grab it through a wall or through the glass and get to the other side, and it will count them as escaped, even though they're kind of just on the edge. But the last time I had it happen, it actually is things that are quite a ways away, surprisingly, that they can actually grab and get through. I was a little bit surprised. I remember I had downloaded somebody's really cute red panda habitat, and they kept escaping, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And when I was looking at the traversable area, I noticed that there was an item that was nearby that had climbable wood, and they were able to grab it and get out. So that's frustrating. All right, so I just made a little fence section, and you'll notice I left the right hand side off so that I can copy this over and continue making this little custom fence all the way around. And I will speed this up. I think you've got the gist of what I'm doing. So right there, I just put two of them together so I could do a little faster and group them. I got towards the end, so I wanted to get just two more, and also make sure that I was, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of going straight, because it looks like my barrier there is not quite so straight. And now I'm just going around, since there are no animals in that habitat, and what's the word I'm looking for? Making that a null barrier. And then I decided right there, since I had that little gap, I'm going to go ahead and put in the, what do you call it? The gate, so my lemurs can get in. And then there we go. So I'm going to just extend those over and squeeze that in. I wonder if I actually connected those with some beams, or if they're just, yeah, I did. I slid them over. Luckily, with a lot of those beams, they don't really crossbite as much, so you don't have to worry about it sometimes. It depends on the wood. The painted ones tend to do it a lot with the Z-fighting. And when you're doing these with custom barriers, you do need to make sure the null barrier is on the outside. So I'm going to have to come back and fix the null barrier right there. And then for this little section, I am custom turning those. And it looks like I'm going to need some smaller pieces. So I took those out and I went and I slid them in, I think, because it lines up straight with that other one. I accidentally deleted something. I didn't mean to, or I think I did that later. But anyway, I think I just needed to sell the babies in there. They had a social problem. So money, yay. All right, so we have that there. And then I needed to be able to connect in, so I went and grabbed one that was a little more straight on, and I just grabbed those so that I could have the reference for where they're supposed to be, and I used that little small block instead, and then I moved them down. All right, so I had saved the zoo and started a new video. So now I'm just looking around. I'm done with that custom fence over there, and here I've decided I really don't like the color of this here, so I'm gonna go ahead and change this part. I'm gonna go on the other side, and we're gonna turn this to that gray color so that it's not so dark. So I grouped them together too, so now I've got to go back and highlight because they're on the same grid. And my first thought was I'll just change the wood and see if I like that. So I've got to find, it's not that white. Let me look at the other one and get its color code. So I'm going to hit color editor, and you can see the codes right there. It's a gray. You can copy that and paste it. You just have to make sure that you hit enter before you hit apply. Otherwise, it won't change the actual color code. But I think I just used a swatch, so I'm just going to look, and there it is. That's got the same color code as this one. Yep. All right. So then I've decided I still just, I don't like the glass that dark on the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and change these, and all the others are a part of a different group, so we're going to go around and select them all. You can make them whatever color you like. I decided this was just, I guess, a little too goth for me at the beginning of the zoo. Just didn't fit with the other building, so we're going to change the color of these guys. So I've got 2 more to get. There we go. All right, much better. I like that. And then now I've got these little glass pieces, so I'm just gonna go find them and change their colors. There we go. Get that one. All right, and then I'm going to change the doors. La 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 la. And much better. I like that much better. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and finish off this custom fencing all the way around the walk-in habitat, so both sides have the same fencing. All right, so you can double click to get into groups as a shortcut, or you can highlight it and hit the little edit button in the panel that pops up. So I'm gonna grab that one and split it so that I can copy it and get it out of that group, and hopefully it'll keep the same kind of line. So I'm just gonna drag it all the way over here, and I probably need to make this a null barrier as well. I'm gonna go ahead and scoot this over. I think I may scoot it back I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go ahead and angle it because this barrier is a little bit angled. That way it'll go behind the little sign that we have there. So I'm gonna edit this barrier and we're gonna turn that. Let's see. Okay. No barrier. Now I'm gonna have to highlight each post. I think I forgot a post. I'll have to go back and get it. It's not giving me the little highlighter that I wanted. It was going the wrong direction. So there we go. Get this one. So we'll just do them piece by piece. There we go. I'll have to probably go back and get that other one I missed. Alrighty. So I'm gonna see there. I see the highlighter. It's a little triangle right there. You can grab it and highlight multiple pieces. So there we go. And we'll go back over here. Go ahead and finish off this custom fence. And there we go. Did I catch it? Nope, I left it. Alright, so we're going to copy that. Slide it over. Oh man. Hate it when it does stuff like that. Okay. So we're going to have to scoot it back. It didn't keep the... Probably because I don't have the post in the end. I'm not sure. Sometimes it just gets wonky. So there we go. Get that there. And then we'll highlight just this one so I can get it over there. And then we're gonna, these are Arctic pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a tall one right here to cover all those little nodes on the gate there. And then we'll just slide these over to meet. Maybe. And then we're gonna turn the whole thing because I need those other ones because they're inside those others. I can't just turn that one little bit. And then I'm gonna grab a straight one and we're gonna start here. It looks like I'm running into that. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this over towards the path there, and then we're just gonna extend this out. There we go. I like that. And then I'll have to move all those barriers. So I'm just selecting. I used I think, or I got in the group and did it. I can't remember. And there we go. All right. So now I need to just grab. We're gonna edit the barrier. Grab all the posts. Pull them back out. There we are. Okay. So that all looks nice and dandy. And then I'm just grabbing a little group to bring over here and double checking on the inside to see if my posts were showing or not. And then we're gonna see if I can get this to fit. I think I'm gonna just scoot it over and then scoot it back, and then I'll tuck those other ones inside the rest of the posts so they're not inside the building over there. So let's get the barrier and we're gonna grab that. There we go. And we're gonna scoot that one little guy out of the way. And then I forgot this side over here. I'm gonna go ahead and change this post out for the taller one. And there we go. Okay, fence is done. These guys are hanging out kind of funny, so we're gonna scoot them in so that the backs don't show. And then I decided I wanted to put a window here, so I had to use a 2 and a 1 meter. And then I think I realized I missed some of these in changing their colors, so we're gonna do that. I think I'm scooting it. Yep, it wasn't quite lined up since I changed the piece. And there we go. So I'm gonna scoot that one over as well so it lines up, because I had split those from the group earlier. And then, yep, I did forget these. So we're gonna just get in here and go ahead and change their color so that they're not the dark purple. Now, I guess I could have left those. Those don't look as bad to me right there, but they don't match the rest of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and change them. And there we are. All right, so I'm gonna get out of that group, and I cut out just changing a couple of the education speakers. It gave me notifications that they were overlapping, so I just clicked on them and made their radius shorter. So now we're ready to get our ring-tailed lemurs in here, or sorry, our red ruff lemurs. So I see one down there. I'm gonna resort this by species so I can find them. There they are. So I have 3. So we're gonna move these into the zoo and put them in the new habitat on this side. And I just cut out the wait time. I just sped up the game until they showed up. So we're gonna click on one, and they need some climbing to be happy, and they also need their terrain fixed. Oh no, their terrain is good. They just need some climbing. All right, so next week we will finish setting up the habitat for the red ringed lemur. I can't say that. Whatever they're called, little red lemurs. So we're gonna build them some climbing and go ahead and fit them out with everything they need for their habitat. So that's going to be next Tuesday, and then on this Thursday will be part 2 of the white rhino real-time build. So we're going to do that, and on Sunday will be the Houston Zoo episode as usual. So I will see you in those videos, hopefully. And thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and do that if you like. Makes me happy. And I will see you next time. May the RNG odds be ever in your favor.